head resting heavy on your single bed. I wanna hear all about it, get it all off your chest. I feel the tears and you're not alone. Will I hold you, will I won't let go? Why should we care for what they're selling us anyway? We're so younger, and you don't have to be led, babe. You don't have to be scared, babe. You don't need a plan of what you wanna do. Won't you listen to the man that's loving you? The world keeps spinning and you can't jump off, but I will catch you if you fall. I can't tell you enough. I hate to hear that you're feeling low. I hate to hear that you won't come home. Oh, why should we care for what they're selling us anyway? We're so younger, and you don't have to be there, babe.
Hello there, fellow Earthlings. I am Kevin Logan, and joining me is a proper adult. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
Hey, Kev. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Haha, I got it in first this time. Haha, that's what she said.
It's a nice, it's a nice change of pace for me to come second. That's good. Good.
Yeah, we're a little.
I will be asleep within the next 10 seconds. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my life personally is fine. The world is on fire, but besides all of the pain and suffering and horrible things that are happening in the rest of the world, my room is okay so far. How about you?
Yeah. Basically ditto.
Yeah.
But it's slightly different time zone.
By 1 hour. Yeah, by 1 hour.
By 1 hour, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're going to address the main issue that needs to be talked about first. It's not something that's going to be done in a kind of a happy hour tone, but I'm sure once we get through the initial part of it, there will be a lot of ranting. Because I know I have strong feelings on this.
Yes. So do you want to tell us what has been happening then? What was always thought of as a sort of rural backwater idyll that when discussed on this show is discussed in humorous tones, Minnesota, because it is, of course, the home state of the great and powerful Walk Up 666 / King of Patriarchy.
Yeah.
Lord of Patriarchy.
Lord of Patriarchy, yeah.
But yeah, Minnesota went dark this week.
Well, to be honest, wasn't there a guy who was pulling out his black man who was pulling out his license for an officer and was telling him he had a gun in his car which he could own legally, and he was shot? Wasn't that in Minnesota too? Maybe I'm misremembering.
I forget. It happens so often and so regularly.
This is a thing, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah. So I guess the story is that here's part of my difficulty is that a lot of this stuff happens when I'm asleep, and so I wake up in the morning. So I don't know if I have all the perfect details. But my understanding is of the video that was circulating all over Twitter a couple of days ago, George Floyd, got his name right, was, for whatever reason, I don't even really fucking care, if I'm honest, why he was being arrested. And during the arrest, he was murdered by the officers who had a duty of care. And when they cuffed him, put him in a vulnerable position, and therefore, had an obligation to render aid because they are also first responders, as an officer I saw on Twitter point out. But they just suffocated a man to death, and it took them 9 minutes. It took 9 minutes for him, and he was crying out, "I can't breathe," which is the same thing that has been a chant at Black Lives Matter. Is Eric Gardner that time, if I remember. The problem is, like you said, there's so many unarmed black men being killed by white cops. It's like the details of each of them you would be precise because you want to honor that person in their life.
Yeah, but they do happen a lot with school shootings and things. It happens so regularly that they tend to blend in your mind, and you're not sure or was that guy, or was it the
or
other one?
this year
or the
in
other
that
one?
school, yeah, which shooter
Yeah.
goes to which school kind of thing.
Exactly. And there's ones that, I mean, it happens so regularly, they slip by.
Yeah.
You don't even hear about them, you
Yeah.
know? It doesn't even make the news. Yes, so anyway,
should I continue? Because I think there's a bit more.
Go for it. Yeah.
The officers were just not arrested. Like, after this happened, after three officers stood around and watched, and one officer knelt on this guy's neck. And they watched him die. And then for days, they weren't arrested. Like, jack shit happened to these white cops. The one who actually is videotaped on his neck apparently had a history of like improper arrest, over use of force and arrest. And did you probably see this? Amy Klobuchar turned down the opportunity to prosecute this guy when she was in Minnesota. So fuck you, Amy Klobuchar.
She's her chance of being vice president
Gone.
just disappeared,
Bye.
which is by all means not by no means the saddest part of the story.
No,
but a part of the story nonetheless.
I mean, for me, she was. For me, she was always the tin
but
can.
it's. Well, yeah, but I mean, apparently she had been approached to be prepared for the potential for.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were
running.
pushing.
So
her.
she's being considered. Yeah.
That's not.
But
the
yeah,
important
it turns
thing
out that old folksy soccer mom herself has some fucking skeletons in the closet that might need to be looked at. Let's say. Yes. So yeah, I took the liberty of watching the video.
I didn't.
It's horrific.
Yeah, I can't.
It's horrific. No, I absolutely understand that. Yeah, as you say, the Gervin, I think is his name, the direct murderer. The other three are, the other three are at very least manslaughterers, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Negligent homicide, definitely. Second-degree manslaughter. Yeah. I mean, if you go by Law and Order, New York law.
Yeah. Yes, but he's now been arrested, Gervin, and charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter.
The guy on his
Pardon?
The guy who was on his neck.
Yeah.
Third degree. Are you fucking kidding me? This is why, like, I don't, like, fuck white liberals. Like, fuck white people. Like, this makes me angry at my own, like, just how fucked up this system is. I saw that he had been arrested. I didn't know it was third degree. And that's just, I am angrier than I was before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would just to clarify, because I don't know what got through in that. And I understand your reaction. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying he's been charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter. Now, that seems enormously unsatisfying on the face of it, but in terms of the prosecutors themselves, they have to work inside the confines of what the law is to try and get a conviction. So from just in terms of turning your anger on anything, don't necessarily look at those people, because they've got to do what they think is best in order to secure a prosecution.
What, lowball a second-degree murder when it's obviously negligent? I'm sorry, I'm not arguing with you, but I'm just saying, if you can't pull off indifference to human life, gross indifference to human life, which is, let's call that second degree because first degree is planned and a forethought and all that. But if you can't make that case, what the fuck are you as a prosecutor? You have video. It takes 9 minutes. You play that for the jury for 9 minutes. You have a conviction. Sorry, okay. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just
no, absolutely I'm not taking it remotely personally. I'm just adding that as a caveat because I don't know Minnesota law. Yeah. So I don't know.
I know the general first, second, and third. At least first and second, I know the difference between first and second degree murder usually has to do with premeditation.
Over the next few days, I'll be looking into some Minnesota legal experts to try and get theirs read on things, because they'll know much more than you or I, especially me. And if they're as angry as you are, then the point stands very much so. But we'll wait and see on that. But that's just the news. That's the base fact of it. But of course, that then led to the initial murder and the fact that no one was arrested and all the rest of it
for days while the video was circulating and the cops weren't doing shit, and this guy was getting away with murder. Yeah, because he had a badge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was a white.
And we'll get onto that. Sorry. We'll get onto that. It's so bad that we've got. This is how bad a situation this is. We've got some praise for Ben Garrison upcoming.
Oh my god!
So fucking gird your loins for that one. Is all I'll say. Yeah. There's been rioting and looting and burning of buildings and all sorts of really, really intense shit.
Because
going down
justice
in,
delayed is justice denied.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't for a second condemn anyone involved in any of that. I just can't. I understand it perfectly. And again, there's one of the prime pieces of white-splaining ever. Again, when we get to the bookmarked tweets portion of the show later on, which is regular sort of meat of the show, there's an amazing piece of white-splaining which will blow your fucking mind, unless you've already seen it, I suppose. So rioting been going on. Amazing thing, they took over a police station as well. Which is pretty intense.
Yeah.
But I think one of the elements of the story that is used rhetorically, but is actually a really interesting and serious thing. The police are sort of pathetic in many respects, because they wouldn't take on the armed right-wing protesters who literally took over federal institutions.
That's on the other side of Wisconsin. Yeah, this happened to the west.
No, absolutely.
Side,
but the point is, that in all 50 states, there are militarized elements of the police force who could do basically whatever they wanted, in theory. But even with them cracking down on these protesters, they weren't even able to secure their own police stations. So what fucking good are they? Even the militarized ones are basically shit when pushed. When it comes to the crunch, they can't actually do anything.
They were too busy arresting journalists because black.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just appalling. And you've got a lot to say on this. General thoughts, I suppose. As an American, as a
the thing is that
person, whatever.
Being involved with YouTube and the online left movement gave me an opportunity to look at things not from a different perspective, but to stop giving in to the guilt that white people sort of are socially conditioned to, really not talk about racial issues. And it's not really our, if we're not involved, it's really not our place to say anything. And that's how the system stays. So, I had opinions on the LA riots, and I actually, I had sympathies for the reaction given the verdicts. So it's not like I've changed my opinions 180 degrees. I'm just way more vocal about calling out fucking white supremacy and calling out white cultures that perpetuate white supremacy, and owning the fact that if we ever actually want to fix white supremacy, it's white people. It's not black people that can fix it or have to be fixed. It's us. And we are failing. The Amy Klobuchars who, don't want to deal with the kind of bullshit, and then people end up dead because of her indifference. But if it had been a black cop, that had been excessive force, I don't doubt that would have been prosecuted, because there is inherent white supremacy that pervades American society. And, I think we have, if I could just, go ahead.
Well, I just want to add a caveat there. That's not necessarily 100% true. There is obviously white supremacy within the police force, but even so, they still tend to look after
the
criminal
system
elements in the police force that are black on occasion as well. If you remember, what was the person's name? They were given a rough ride in the back of a Baltimore police van. That happens so often, I've forgotten the poor fucker's name. Anyway, but they died of multiple fucking head fractures and all sorts. And was it 3 of the 4 cops were of colour, and none of them got charged with anything either. So
I was thinking more of the entire policing, justice, prosecution system. Is
no, absolutely. I'm just adding that there's a caveat to that as well, that it's not just purely white supremacy. There's also a certain kind of police supremacy, if that makes sense.
Well, there's that the whole thing about the blue line or whatever. But I'm thinking more about perpetual, long-term systemic injustice, like not arresting somebody who's on film murdering somebody for days.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
this is a modern lynching. What took place here? Let's not fucking be around the bush. Fucking evil, monumental evil.
And I saw, I just saw someone on Twitter saying, I think white people are afraid to talk about this. I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I know that I was in the same mentality until I had to break out of it. I did a video on white guilt. And it's not the white guilt that the right wants to weaponize about, you feel bad for, discrimination. It's owning the fact that you benefit from a white supremacist system. Every day when you walk out your door, you just don't experience things that other people do because you're white. And if you live in that and you accept that and you think you don't have to talk about it, you just keep it up. You perpetuate it. And I think white people need to talk about this more, about wanting to break down white supremacy. So it can't just be
Yeah,
something that
this-
Black Lives Matter does. It has to be white people who do this. We have to be allies
Yeah.
to them, and we have to sort our own shit out.
Yeah, to quote Elie Wiesel, the now dead, but had survived the Holocaust, he became an economist and stuff, and he said, speaking more specifically about his experiences, obviously, but it very much translates, that he said, silence only ever helps the oppressor, never the oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a righteous thought to keep in mind when, yes, it's uncomfortable. No one's going to say that having those discussions and taking those actions is like a pleasant experience for anyone involved. But the number of people that are dying here is just, I don't give a fuck about your inconvenience, frankly, at this point, and neither should anybody else.
Also, in the interest of nuance, I will say I'm not going to do a blanket like fuck the police, because there are a lot of great police officers of, who are black, who are brown, who are white, and especially for those who are people of color, they might be in there partly because they want to change the system. And so for the people who are doing the day-to-day work, I give them respect. The people who would step up in this situation, the people who would stop the officer, those are the cops we need. So just in terms of a clarification.
But I mean, I know where you're going with that, and I have a certain sympathy with that. I don't think every police officer is literally evil, but they all too often stand around whilst the evil takes place, and whilst they may think they can change it from the inside, I think at best they're deeply misguided.
Well, look, we need police. We can't live without police, so we need the
No,
most
absolutely.
optimal
Look,
police
I'm not.
force.
No.
So just
no,
walking away
but-
from it just gives all the shitty cops the jobs.
No, I'm not saying anyone should walk away from anything. I'm just saying that I'm less willing to give props to anyone involved in that at the moment. Not
Right.
that I'm saying they're unnecessary or all evil or anything like that, but
Well, I have a video from
certainly
a
it
black
feels
cop.
it feels too raw for me to be like, oh, there's some cops are alright. They all seem pretty shitty at the minute.
Well, the thing is that on Twitter, and maybe I bookmarked it, there was a video from a black cop who was talking about this issue and why he was motivated to join. And so I just wanted to maybe we'll get to
that's
it.
fine. That's look, we don't agree on everything,
Yeah.
One element of the story, which I think gets a certain amount of rhetorical press, but is huge, really hugely important in this, is that there has now been an arrest, but there has been an arrest because there was violence. People had to take direct, brutal action and take control of the streets before any semblance of the beginnings of justice took place. I think that's worth noting, that direct action gets the results. The free marketplace of ideas thing doesn't really work in reality, in a pure sense anyway. Obviously can work in a lot of cases, but not always. And that goes back to, you get a lot of this nonsense about damage of private property and stuff. Glass window lives don't matter. Brick walls don't matter. McDonald's doesn't fucking matter. People's lives matter, right? And of course, arguably one of the corner founding stone events of American history, the Boston Tea Party, was precisely this. And is celebrated quite rightly and quite understandably as a turning point moment in American history.
Yeah, white people don't like to be reminded of that.
But
Some white people.
a riot against the rightful owners of that property and the laws of the place they were living in. It was technically treason as well, because it's Her Majesty's docks. But it happened, and it's a glorious thing that it happened.
Who released her docs? Sorry,
Well,
just
I
a
think
little.
everyone knows where she lives.
A little side.
To be fair. Although, to be fair, the monarchy didn't live. Buckingham Palace didn't exist at the time. Just a little historical factoid for you there. Not relevant to anything, just a thing. Yes, so I suppose we've discussed it, but how do we feel about the lesser charges?
If it's anything under the second-degree manslaughter, it's going to be a travesty of justice.
Second-degree murder.
Second-degree, that's what I said, right?
No, you said second-degree manslaughter.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, homicide. So
Yeah.
legally it's homicide, not murder. And then manslaughter is a type of homicide. That's my understanding. Again, lots of law and order.
Well, there's all I know is that there are 2 charges. One is second degree and one is manslaughter.
Yeah.
So there are currently 2 charges, but they can be changed, can't
Yes,
they?
that's the thing.
Days?
You can be arrested on certain charges and then actually charged on other as new evidence comes to light. Yeah, additional charges or an increase in the charge could be, but at the end of the day,
you would think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, when you've got that direct evidence, like it's not this person's word versus someone else's word, or this is pretty clear. It's a whole fucking video. It's there. The guy's right there. There's no mistaken identity. He looks directly into the camera. He knows he's being filmed, and like I say, it's modern lynching.
Like I said, as I said,
absolutely unashamed murder, slaughter. This is an execution.
The prosecution's opening statement is playing that video. And then the prosecution's closing statement is playing that video. There's nothing that excuses it. It's not like it doesn't matter what happens up until the point he had his handcuffs on him. Because it was, at that point, the situation was in control. 4 people and 1 guy on the ground.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't, firstly, the important thing, just in case any right-wingers lied to you, he didn't resist arrest.
Yeah, it wouldn't even matter.
He was clearly very agitated by the whole thing, but he didn't resist arrest, so there was no reason for him to be on the ground in the first place.
Other than he's a black man surrounded by 4 white cops.
Well, okay, there's no legitimate legal reason for him.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I'm just being snarky because I'm angry.
No, that's fine. After you snark away, whatever you need. The fact that it's not just playing the video; it's literally pointing out that he knew that this was a banned practice, that this was not police policy to put any part of your weight on the neck of a person.
Yeah.
Let alone, I mean, it was bad enough when poor Eric Garner was choked, but at least that wasn't weight as such. So it was in theory less dangerous, although of course still fatal.
Yeah.
Whereas this was obviously could only end up this way. I'm surprised it didn't break his fucking neck, the poor bastard. And the fact that he's literally saying, "I can't breathe." At what point do you go, okay, well, I need to get off this man's fucking neck here?
Yeah.
Like, there's literally no possible legal rationale for this. Now, like I say, I don't know the specific wording of Minnesota law, and like we say, this is just a preliminary thing. This is what he's been arrested on. He hasn't. This isn't like the court case hasn't started yet or anything. Still very much in the investigation phase of things, so it can be improved. But like you say, if this does go through as it is, it seems very unsatisfactory.
Yeah, that would be a travesty. Okay, so because we kept talking about it, I just pulled up a news story. It says he's charged with murder, and so I will just read. This is from CBS Minnesota. Fired Minnesota police officer Derek Chauvin has been arrested 4 days after George Floyd's fatal arrest that sparked protest rioting and outcry. All right, yes, and the district county announced he had been charged with 3rd-degree murder and manslaughter. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just see if they talk about the criminal complaint, about the charges, about what they kind of indicate here. No, we don't want to do this live, so.
No, that's look,
there is a quote here. Ben Crump, the attorney representing Floyd's family, released a statement on their behalf saying they were expecting 1st-degree murder charges. We will call on authorities to revise the charges to reflect the true culpability of this officer, the statement said. So that's the family statement.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, whether they were expecting that at this point in the proceedings or not, who knows? But if that's what they're saying, and obviously there's going to be a certain amount of asking for something that you might not necessarily think you're going to get in order to try and get it. Like it's all part of the kind of legal pas de deux, the dance that they will do. I'm sure the defence will do the exact opposite and say, well, actually, we think the manslaughter charge is excessive or some fucking nonsense.
Here's what I actually have the charges here. It says, if convicted on what he's currently charged on, Chauvin could face up to 25 years in prison on the murder charge and up to 10 years in prison on the manslaughter charge. 1st-degree murder would get him life.
Yeah. Minnesota's not an execution state, is it? No. Which in general I happen to agree with, but it's a thing that can happen, obviously, in some states. So it's a thing to bear in mind. Yeah, that's unacceptable because he could be free, even if convicted on both charges. He could walk free as an elderly man, of course, but
the thing
still,
is, you know,
there's no way he should ever see freedom again.
Yeah.
No, why?
I'm honestly, I'm sick of white people doing nothing. As I tweeted out earlier today, you know, maybe if more white people had listened to Colin Kaepernick when the reason he was kneeling, instead of demonizing him and driving him from the league, maybe things would have been reformed earlier. Maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe George Floyd would be alive. But white people got outraged because he was bringing, the fact that he might be murdered onto their football game gridiron. Oh, don't bring your, I want to survive as a human being into my football game.
Yeah, I mean, there are two really salient and interesting points regarding the Kaepernick thing. Firstly, obviously, is the physical manifestation of both events involving the knee. And the comparison between those two things is an astonishingly poetic and brutal,
gut-wrenching
juxtaposition. Yeah. And secondly, of course, when people go on about the violence of the protests that are taking place right now, point to Colin Kaepernick and say, he tried to tell you peacefully. He tried to tell you peacefully what was going down. He was very much ahead of the curve in terms of the public perception of all of that. He tried to tell you peacefully, and you destroyed him. You destroyed his career. You massively impinged on his potential employability to the point where he's realistically not going to play ever again, which is a fucking disgrace. We've been through all that. Anyone who argues that for footballing reasons he shouldn't be in the league is a fucking liar or an ignorant twat who should shut up. And so when you leave, I mean, to quote, albeit that I disagree slightly, but to quote JFK, those that make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. If you can't change things peacefully, if you get absolutely annihilated for daring to take, just to kneel down, not to hurt anyone, not to directly insult anyone, not to take the piss out of anyone, not to kill anyone, and nothing changes, then direct action is needed. This is where it inevitably ends up. You can't complain that people are now getting violent when they try to do it peacefully and you chat all over them. You still continue to fucking murder them. This is the thing. The Amy Klobuchar thing might seem like a side part of the story, but I think it's worth focusing on.
It is.
Because you think of the number of America's obviously mostly known outside America for its big towns and cities and stuff, New York, LA, Chicago, all of that. But obviously it's made up of 1,000,001 little fucking places, all of which have their own police force, all of which have mayors and councils and state representatives and all of that, who are to some degree beholden to the police or have interactions with the police. And you think it would be impossible to quantify because you couldn't trust the police's numbers they would give you or the information they would give you. But the true number of those sorts of instances across America must be truly fucking heartbreaking and breathtaking in the enormity. It must be enormously common for people to be murdered or abused or in some way harassed or fucked over by the police, and for them to just get away with it.
Yeah, that's why one of the 10 issues that Black Lives Matter was asking for and agitating on were independent citizen review boards for police-involved shootings. You just cannot be internal and be biased and be unbiased in those situations. And it makes a lot of sense that a jury of citizens would review those, because that's why should the police themselves? That makes no sense.
Yeah, the old question of who polices the police is one that can never go away, of course. And no one's found a perfect solution to it, but I think we can all agree that what's happening in America is not just not perfect, but it's just fucking abysmal. I mean, really shameful. And I'm not saying, by the way, anyone who's like, well, what about Britain? Yeah, Britain's fucked too, but at least, I mean, mainly because of the gun thing. If our police abuse people, generally they don't tend to die.
You guys did your colonization off the island. Whereas America basically brought people over and like did the same thing, but they colonized them inside the property,
that's
the territory.
still kind of on us. Like, I feel like we...
No, but in
got that
terms of
ball
how
rolling.
because British society is still like 84% white British or white non-British, I think it's much more difficult for there to be kind of like a critical mass of, I mean, I think that's growing increasingly. I'm seeing more voices of activism, but I think that there's just wasn't, they were more local things as opposed to national movements, the way that sort of, anyway, I guess at this point, I lay the blame of the property damage at the feet of the people who took so long to make an obvious arrest. They let the problem brew, and it was their inaction that was creating the frustration. People want to see justice, and that's not unreasonable. It's a very basic instinct we have as kids. They show like kids like a little film of a square, a triangle, and a circle, and like the circle like does something mean to the triangle, and the square stops it, and then they bring out little fuzzy versions of the cartoon things, the square, the circle, and the kids will like bop the circle on the head for being bad and be like really nice to the square. So we have a sense of righteousness and justice as human beings, and when you deny that, you are responsible for the situation you've created.
And in terms of looting, on the face of it, it might seem an entirely selfish act or like you're taking advantage of a situation. But in America, in a society that has taught its populace that physical wealth or accumulation and possessions are more important than human life, how do you expect people to react? They can't afford a lot of those things. So given the opportunity, they have to do something. And they've had their futures and indeed lives stolen. The fact that they've stolen something from Joe, they went into fucking Trader Joe's. Oh no, I'm sure Trader Joe's will fucking survive. Calm down. Anyway, so yeah, I anyone daring to step up and say, do you condemn the violence? No, I don't fucking condemn the violence. I'm not here saying it's all righteous in its own way at all. I'm saying I don't condemn it.
I think that the issue is actually what caused the situation that caused the violence. Because if you just focus on the looting and the arson, then you don't have to talk about the lack of justice that built up from days on days of city leaders who failed to do something we all knew was the right thing to do. So that's a conversation they don't want to have by talking about more sensational things.
Well, they didn't. He was allowed to leave and go to Florida, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't. Yes, I saw something about that. Yeah. He fled.
Because I know
Minnesota.
he had to vacate his house because that got known, and it was actually sort of a horrific and beautiful thing at the same time. Some of the artwork that was done in chalk on the pavement outside of his house, as like part of the protest and stuff, was it's all pretty heartrending stuff, you know. But yeah, he had to escape, but he shouldn't have been allowed to leave the state.
No, absolutely not. Now, again, this is in. What if the person you just watched murder someone they've gone to Florida for a holiday? Fucking what? How long? Like if, Eric Garner was arrested immediately for selling loose cigarettes, but they can't arrest a guy who just killed someone. Yeah,
what about if he fucks off to Mexico or something?
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they have an extradition treaty, but here in Britain, generally, if a prisoner escapes or whatever, they go to Brazil because Brazil refuses to extradite to Britain for some fucking reason.
I mean, if you, sorry, you finish your thought and then I'll go.
No, I was just going to say, so whatever the equivalent of that would be for the US legal system, what about if he just gets on a plane and fucks off?
Yeah.
And he's then untouchable?
I mean, it just, as soon as it was obvious that he was dead and that the officers involved, it just seems to me like they should immediately be pulled into a questioning room. They should be read their rights. Because you don't know what the situation is. And again, this isn't just like two citizens where you come upon a situation. Officers have power, right? They have the tools, they have the power of the state, they have also like societal like backing and all that way. And that puts on them a much, much greater responsibility.
Yeah, they have a duty. Yeah.
Yes, they have a duty. And when they violate that duty and somebody dies, they shouldn't be told they are not allowed to leave the jurisdiction. Full stop.
Absolutely.
You need to be available for questioning and possible arrest.
Yeah, well, they should be taken into custody. I mean, as we've seen from this case, if for no other reason than their own fucking safety.
Mm-hmm.
To have them walking around is just a nightmare from a public order point of view.
Oh, it's just
disaster.
a slap in the face to the families and friend of the victim.
Yeah, and not just that, but I mean, I hope nobody is satisfied remotely with the one arrest, because there were 4 police officers present, all of whom could and should have stepped in.
Hey, when you
I'm not saying they should have stepped in and let him walk free. I'm not arguing anything to do with the arrest. I'm saying the fact that he was clearly saying, "I can't breathe." Just go and put a hand on your man's shoulder and say, "Okay, get off him."
We
put it back.
We all know that the way that a lot of state laws work is that if 4 people went into a convenience store and one of them had a gun and shot the clerk and the clerk died, all 4 would be charged with murder. Even people who weren't. So if we're going to hold the cops to that standard, they are all guilty of the same crime.
Yeah, or potentially, depending on the exact thing, it could be an accessory or whatever. But yeah, I know your point you're making is that everyone would face charges for that. Yeah, It's understandable. Absolutely. It would be difficult to argue, well, it was nothing to do with me. I was just stood there.
Yeah, watching it.
Yeah. You were stood there. Yeah, you let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's. I mean, it's slightly different in the sense that with a gunshot, that can be an instant rush of blood from one person. This, like you said, this dragged on for the thick end of 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
At any point, one of them could have stepped in and saved this man's life, and they didn't. And it was, again, I wouldn't advise people to go and watch it, but if you do, you'll hear the man cry out, and that cry will stay with you, I assure you. It's harrowing. I don't know how anyone could stand by and just let that happen. Like, even if you were full of racial animus, I still don't really understand how, just on a basic human level, you don't go, come on now. Let's stop this. Anyway, so Minnesota's sort of on fire, and many other places across America.
Mm-hmm. And this coming after...
Yes.
Yeah. Someone that I follow on Twitter said, I was so focused on the pandemic, I forgot all about America's racism. Because it was like, when everyone was inside, people weren't dying as much, and now people are trying to go outside again, and we're starting to see Black people die again.
Yeah, there was an amazing screenshot. I didn't see it, the actual show live, but I saw the screenshot of Don Lemon, who's
the CNN,
growing into quite an impressive news anchor in his own way. Got his own style and all the rest of it. Some people don't jive with it, but whatever. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, the banner under him, as he was giving his bit to camera during one of his shows the other day, was it America's fighting 2 viruses, Corona and racism.
Yep. Yeah.
Powerful, man.
Yep. Except white people have immunity, so they don't.
Yeah. And orange people.
Yeah, and orange people especially. I mean,
fuck the Oompa-Loompas.
Okay. All right. Are we? So yeah, we've done 30 minutes, 35 minutes on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it needed it.
And we'll return to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll return to it, by the way, because we'll get to the bookmark section, and we always bring it up, but there's an emotional roller coaster upcoming, because Twitter doesn't allow you to sort them in any kind of order, which breaks up the flow and it becomes really choppy and weird. So we don't mean to be disrespectful by having a thing about, the murder of Black people and racial justice, and then, cute picture of a cat.
Closer to the mic, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone when we have like an example of like a Black person being killed, and then this is an evil thing about anti-immigrant racism. Oh, and then a cute picture of a cat. Like, we're not trying to be disrespectful by putting those things next to one another. Yep. It's sort of unavoidable based on the time you put them in there, and it's good to try and break up some of the darkness with a bit of fun.
That is true.
Or just something cute.
I mean, sometimes we need a tangent. So, speaking of which, Hey, here's a cute picture of a cat.
Oh, I need to look at your screen. I was looking at Actually, you've got the chat on the thing. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at my thing.
Okay.
Yes, that is a cute picture of a cat.
Yeah, it reads, "This asshole destroyed his 3rd pair of headphones last night."
Well, they're his headphones.
They're the person's headphones.
Are they?
Well, they're his now.
They're in his.
They're his.
They're
now.
in his house. So I mean that counts.
Yeah.
If you don't want it destroyed, don't bring it into his house.
Yeah. And then this one, just remorseless with this look.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Top catting.
Okay. Do you know details about this? We got tagged into this just like right before going on air. Oh, I guess 3 hours ago. So like an hour and a half before going on air. This is about...
they're trying to kind of fudge some shit in Parliament until it reopens on July the 2nd or whatever. They're only allowing 50 MPs at any given time in the chamber, and you have to be present because Parliament is really old-fashioned and shit. So remote absentee stuff or electronic voting isn't allowed yet.
Okay.
So they're basically trying to fuck things up. The calling it a coup is probably a bit much, but yeah, it's pretty shitty. Especially because surely if it's an exceptional circumstance, just let them vote in absentia. Surely they can ring up and be like, oh yeah, this is the MP for blah blah blah. Do it on Zoom.
Yeah, I understand the importance. There's kind of a tradition of being present to vote. But, you could have just the parliamentary debate being broadcast and MPs in their offices and watching it and then shifting in, in groups to vote socially distanced. But anyway, okay, I just was
especially because very, very few ever change their vote based on the thing. So you could take the vote before the fucking debate ever happens.
Yeah, that's
true. And it would be very similar to the end anyway. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's not ideal. It's another piece of fuckery from the Boris Johnson government, which never stops. I mean, it just never starts. I was telling Kristi off air about the dentists thing. They're planning to reopen dentist practices in Britain in a few days. Is it the 8th of next month? So in like just over a week, without telling the dentists. So people have been ringing their dentist saying, "Can we book an appointment?" and not getting through, or if they do get through to a number somewhere, they're like, "Well, we're not open. We haven't been told to open. We don't know. We haven't received any training or any knowledge or information or anything on how to deal with patients. So no, we can't give you an appointment." So it's just nonsense. They're trying to distract from the #Harem-gate thing again. So yeah.
Speaking of distractions, go ahead.
Still in office or still in a position. Yeah.
Speaking of distractions,
absolutely garbage.
I just had to approve something by Tony Blakeway in the chat, and I was like, why isn't Tony a mod? So I went to click on it to make Tony a mod, and then I realized, oh yeah, it's not my channel, so I can't.
It's not your channel. Stay in your fucking lane. Stay in your lane. But yes. Tony, I would make you a mod, but I can't be bothered.
It's literally clicking 2 buttons. I think
exactly, yeah.
But he's the ringer. Come on.
I don't care what he does with his ring.
Think of all the times Tony helped you out in the pub quiz, in the Jimmy Carr's dumb.
Yeah, and I'm helping him by not dragging him into this nonsense. Steer clear of this channel, Tony. It will take you down to Chinatown.
All right, I tried, Tony. All right, so the next story, I'm just going to put this under statistics I don't believe. Not because I think there's anything with YouGov. I just don't actually believe this many Britons would want to see a bunch of people from Hong Kong flood into the UK right now. So this is from YouGov. By 42% to 24%, Britons support Dominic Raab's proposal to offer Hong Kongers, is that how you say it? Greater visa rights to live and work in Britain if China imposes regressive security law.
Yeah, a lot of bollocks.
Yeah. I think people...
Because they'll say, yeah, oh, well, we should do this or that or the other. And then you say, so you want 5,000 Hong Kongers to just move in down the street from you? Well, no, of course not. Not in my backyard.
I mean, you guys are doing fucking Brexit to kick out foreigners. And people are like, oh, no, we should let them in, the Chinese. And then they get little Hong Kong, and then all of a sudden the Daily Mail's got a new group to hate.
Yeah. We expose the Hong Kongers treating Britain like a holiday camp. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of bullshit. Oh, okay, so I guess in a related story, we should talk a little bit about Trump and his Twitter dramas.
Do we have to?
Well, you know about his Twitter dramas, correct?
Oh yes, well aware.
Okay. Well, first, Trump tweeted out something along.
Sorry, Tony, I'm trying, but it's not happening, mate. Can is it only me that can make people
Yes.
mods?
Yeah, it's your
Oh, for
channel.
fuck's sake! Well, it's not happening. I'll keep clicking the bastard thing. It's not happening. Sorry, Tone. Deal with it. You're a grown up. I think.
No,
I
that
don't know.
just
You
means
could be fucking 6.
Tony has to deal with the fact that Kevin can't work technology.
No, it's not that I can't work technology. It's for whatever reason on that page it won't have it. I keep clicking the fucking 3 buttons and nothing comes up. What do you want me to do?
That's weird. Like, yeah.
It is weird.
Are you logged in as yourself?
No, I'm logged in my alter ego.
No,
fucking
joking,
Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Jesus.
All right. Right, getting back to it. So Trump sent out again, he did it like 1:00 in the morning, so I didn't see it. And by the time I got up, Twitter had put a warning on it. So this is the second time he's gotten a teacher's note to send home.
You can still view it.
Yeah, I guess we can view it.
I know what it is, but I know why it's been.
Yeah, basically, he said he quoted a racist back from segregation days, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and so this, that tweet actually got the ban thing on Twitter you just saw, and then the White House account tried to tweet it out, and they got fucking shut down too. Like they just basically, they did the exact same tweet. And within I reported that shit, and within a couple hours, it also had the same warning on it. So now they're like, the president didn't glorify violence. When you say he clearly condemned it. No, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. It's not condemning violence. It's such propaganda. So anyway,
and not just that, but this is nowhere near the first time when he threatened to destroy a nation of 22 million people on Twitter. I think that glorifies a bit of violence, doesn't it?
Yep.
I mean, I got my account shut for telling Nazis to go fuck themselves. So, I mean...
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Trump and all the extra chances he's been given.
Well, I pointed out on the thing, he's now signed a presidential...
executive order.
Executive order, which means basically nothing. Him trying to silence social media is the ultimate, mask off moment for the right wing's fake free speech, quote unquote, bullshit drive over the last few years, because they're not for free speech in this life.
No, they're for
and they'll
their
all defend
speech.
this.
It's my speech, not free speech.
Yeah, they want consequence-free speech. That's what they want.
Yeah.
If you call someone a racist, that's you trying to stifle their free speech somehow.
Yeah.
Don't know how that is. I'm not
having standards.
Me using my free speech is not stopping you using yours.
No. And again, Twitter is a private company. They regulate what content they host. And they don't have to host your shit. Sorry. You don't have any constitutional rights in the free market. That's not how it works.
Well, as they're about to find out, when they were all celebrating the Citizens United, because they love them some fucking rights for businesses, they'll find that actually Twitter has free speech rights.
Yep.
Because of your fucking nonsense. So live with it. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's not glorifying violence. That's a genuine saying.
On that sort of we need to change shit up because this isn't working kind of thing. Beto O'Rourke, someone retweeted him, but this is back in 2019 in August when what he wrote was, "It is not enough to not be racist. We have to be anti-racist. We have to shut down white supremacy, domestic terrorism, and white nationalism." So,
and he came onto stage with a skateboard, so
yeah, he did.
He's pretty cool.
I want to thank Don Winslow here. The quote, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," unquote, originated by a racist white Miami police chief named Walter Headley, who targeted black people in 1967 ahead of the Republican convention. So that's who he is quoting.
Yeah.
All right, something from Ina. With all this going on in the world lately, what better topic to dedicate an episode to than cancel culture and the knitting community?
What? Oh, fucking hell. Oh, no. Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I has his brain dropped a fucking stitch? What the fuck is wrong with this man?
That's a nice
So I did
knitting
that.
joke. Yeah.
That is, I don't know many knitting ones. I was thinking, can I fit the word pearl into this somewhere? I don't know. I couldn't work one out for it, but those are my two knitting references. I could have gone needles, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, my nan used to knit. She was fucking dreadful. Anyway, moving on.
Wait, her knitting was dreadful, or your nan was dreadful?
Yeah. Oh no, she was as a person. She was. I mean, well, actually, she was a little bit racist. Everyone in that generation was. But on a personal level, as a white person, she was fine with me. Yeah. But yeah, she used to knit, and the arms were never the same length ever. She was fucking dreadful. But you know what? She was happy with it. She was like, and my mum would always be like, "Oh, you have to wear it." I don't want to wear it. You have to wear it. Yeah. Fucking guilt tripping me at 6 to wear a fucking shit jumper.
Oh, I don't.
Not just that. It's the middle of summer. I'm sweating. I don't care. You're wearing the fucking jumper. And they shut up. Anyway, sorry.
She made that for you. No, that's it. Oh yeah, the shoe on head one. Did you get that link that I sent you?
Well, yeah, I did, but I'm blocked. So I thought, well, I could use an incognito thing, but I'm also quite enjoying my shit at the minute, so I couldn't be bothered.
Okay. So apparently, shoe is getting a bit dragged over on Twitter by K-Hive. Don't feel bad. Oh God, June. I forgot.
K-Hive.
Yeah, if you don't know what the K-Hive is, I'll explain it to you another time. All right, so this is shoe
No.
on
No. You will explain that now.
It's the people who supported.
I don't know what that means.
It's the people who supported Kamala Harris who are still like really fans and stans of her.
Why didn't you just explain that? That wasn't long or complicated.
Well, I mean, I could go into more detail, but that's the TLDR.
That's fine. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Okay.
Yeah.
So June fucking Shoe on Head wrote this and tweeted this out. She thought this was a good idea. We nominated Joe Biden to fix this. Incredible, truly.
Who the fuck is we?
Yeah, you're not a Democrat, June. Fuck off.
I'm not sure. Well, considering one of the tweets I've got coming up in my particular thing, I'm not sure she's on the left.
No.
Who is this we that's elected anyone here?
Yep. She said she wanted to burn the DNC down in Minecraft. Yeah, she's we. So yeah, K-Hive Queen Bee writes, you think Biden is the president right now? Really? Biden hasn't even officially received the nomination, but somehow you think he's the president? Okay. But when can we call y'all low information and tell you to read a goddamn book? You don't want to hear that. Never seen stupider. Oh, because you know how a lot of Bernie people were saying...
1-star review there. 1 star.
Yeah, because you know a lot of Bernie people, well not a lot, but shit Bernie people were going around talking about how black voters are low information and they don't understand that Bernie was actually the best candidate for them. They were just, they weren't smart enough to figure out.
That's the way to get them on your side.
Yeah.
Way to win them over. Call them fucking thick. I love that.
Yep. So that's when
there's nothing people like more than being told they're stupid.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So yeah, low information. Yeah. That was, I think, the reference there. A little hat tip to that.
Well, considering Shoe is a burner, I'm not sure they're completely free from the low information themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, 11,000 people sycophantically liked the dumbass tweet she sent out.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, has she criticized Trump for any of this?
I can't see it because she doesn't want to be criticized, Kevin.
Yeah, she blocked. Yeah, well, I'm missing out on all those absolutely spicy memes, I'm sure.
Yes.
We could have had the memesters,
yes,
Kristi.
We could have had the shit posters.
Threw away their shit posters in favour of someone who's vaguely electable. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Kristi, Pepe could have won it for us.
If only. They had the sickest memes.
They did. Right. They were dank AF. Okay.
Yeah, because earlier before we came on air, Kevin made some sort of reference to being a cock, and I had to correct him that the new word simp. So
it's simp.
Stay with the lingo.
Apologies.
Yeah, because they just.
I am a simp. I'm a beta simp or something.
Yeah.
I wonder what I'll be next week. I can't wait to find out.
Who was the opposite of
Can't
the
wait
Chad?
for these people. Pardon?
Who was the opposite of the Chad?
Oh, oh, fuck. I've forgotten. Anyway, that guy, the skinny guy.
Yeah, it's basically a new insult to the same sort of toxic masculine notion of what is not a man in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's
like
nothing
a
more
healthy
alpha than
masculinity.
having. There's nothing. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing more alpha than having the need to constantly tell people how alpha you are.
Yes, it's so alpha.
Power move.
Hey,
No,
Kevin.
Doesn't reek of pathetic insecurity at all.
I have
Doesn't.
a news flash for you, and I know this is
Go
your
for
jaw
it.
is going to drop. I know he hasn't been on the show in the last couple months, but news flash, everyone! Dun dun dun. Andy No is still a dick. Did you know?
Oh, the guy that produces death lists for Atomwaffen. That
Yes.
guy.
However, you should not.
Oh, okay.
But don't mistake cool Andy No for dickhead Andy No. Just a little warning. We are gonna. Andy No is. I don't even know if we have time for an emotional space for the kind of bullshit that he was putting out. But we'll see if we get to it. Do you have any of the Andy No misrepresenting an event?
I don't, but I can give you a brief rundown rather than us going through it in detail. As you can see on the screen, there's a woman that looks like she's a wheelchair user who is being sprayed by these evil, terrible, violent protesters with a fire extinguisher in the face, which looks really terrible on the face of it, doesn't it? Turns out she's not in a wheelchair at all, and she was actually going around stabbing people.
Yeah. When you say fire extinguisher, it was the smoke of the fire extinguisher, right? She wasn't being beaten in the head with fire. No, she was being sprayed by the hose bit of it. Yeah. Yeah. If someone's stabbing you, I actually think that's a pretty restrained form of self-defense.
Yeah, exactly. If someone's stabbing you, I think you're within your rights to use the back end
or the
fucking.
or the preservation or prevention of the life of others, preventing harm from others by disabling.
But this is typical Andy No material,
her.
isn't it? When at Charlottesville, when there's that famous image of the black guy with the aerosol being used as a kind of makeshift flamethrower to the Nazis, the poor little Nazis. They just wanted to have a little march. Jesus. And it made him out to be really terrible. Actually, he was defending a black man in his 60s who was being hit with sticks by the Nazis.
Can I just say
again, and Andy No likes taking away, context to make people of color look bad and Nazis look good. Surprising.
Yeah, and I just want to step up and say that when that picture of that guy with the spray can with flames shooting out of it, with no shirt on, with his gorgeous, almost demigod body, he was not a bad guy. He was like a hero. In that moment, he was like badass superhero. Like, oh my god, look at his abs.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was it?
And like I say, not just that, but he was protecting an old dude who's being attacked by Nazis. So not only was he taking on Nazis, he was doing so in an absolutely legal fashion as well. So even within the confines of the American legal system, he was cool. So.
Yeah, there's someone I think tweeted out like, "Be the flame-throwing, like amazingly good-looking Nazi fighter that you've always wanted to be." Or something.
Kristi, can you keep thirst down to a minimum, please?
People should look up that picture. It is.
Kristi,
Okay.
Kristi, has anyone got a drink? Because Kristi is fucking dying over here. She's almost desiccated with thirst.
All right. So, and now we have to do one of those awkward transitions because I was doing this as levity. Well, actually, he did look really hot, but I was kind of playing it up.
I gave the content warning. It's going to be mental on this one. No disrespect to anyone involved, obviously. Twitter. I mean, firstly, edit button.
Please.
For fuck's sake.
Long...
actually, no. Firstly, get rid of your Nazis, including the orange fucker. Edit button and allow people to sort the bookmarks.
Yep.
Come on now.
Sort it out.
It can't be that difficult.
All right. I'm going to be kicking it over to you because the next story is in your wheelhouse.
Go for it. This has to be sport then, surely.
No, sorry. It was a...
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes. So,
we can move back.
I'm going to stop that from running in the background. Yes, we had a little bit of a discussion about this in an early episode of the Happy Hour, and this has to do with Hamfister. So,
yes,
Kevin, do you want to...
Old pig fucker, now called Xander Hall. Yes, we talked about this Harem-gate because everything's a fucking gate. Jesus.
Hashtag
Imagine if it'd been called the Water Dick Hotel.
What?
Would have been a very different. Because then it would be like everything would have dick as the suffix. It's a joke based on gate as a suffix. Anyway.
Yes, we all know how you like pets, Kevin. You're fascinated by them.
I do.
I know.
They are. Well, they're tasty. What can I say? Anyway, especially Piers Morgan. Don't get me started.
Yes, that chinninlingus.
Oh, just gently lapping away at the soft velvety folds of his neck. Oh, outrageous. Anyway, this is going to seem entirely inappropriate now.
Yeah.
Considering the thing we're about to discuss.
Yeah, we were kind of in an awkward. That was why I did the awkward transition. Now you get to do one too. So.
Awkward transition time.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Okay. So yes, Pig Puncher. As we know, is garbage in a number of ways.
Yeah.
And it seems he's a manipulative, abusive, borderline sex pest. Is what I'm going to go with. Yes. He started this thing called the Harem, which was a quote-unquote joke, and we know how reactionary people tend to use the word joke very, very loosely. He's tried to claim, and he had several women involved in this.
We read out his tweet thread on an earlier show.
Yeah, we read out the tweet thread about the cancerous tumor on Western culture known as what the fuck's this thing? Discord. There we go. I couldn't get Twitch out of my fucking head, and I knew it wasn't right. Although Twitch is shit as well, but Discord. They set up a not safe for work bit, which is fine. Adults can do whatever the fuck they like. Go for it, kids. When I say go for it, kids, I mean euphemistically.
Anyone of consenting age in the jurisdiction.
Indeed. Yes. So. That was all fine and well, and they started a thing called the harem, which again, if it's like an open relationship, polyamorous thing, again, is not a problem. This appears to have been something a bit different to that.
And she was a fan.
There's a power imbalance involved in this, which we know is at the very least pretty problematic, and at worst, incredibly fucking problematic. So I don't know what I'm at liberty to reveal in terms of the private stuff, but I'll basically go by what she said in the stream that we can see on screen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was clearly a sexual thing. This wasn't just a bit of fun, a bit of jokiness on the internet. There were nude pictures. Again, absolutely fine to do, but clearly there was a certain amount of coercion via the potential for future relationships being put out there. He asked for them,
boob and butt shots. He requested.
Indeed, he asked for them
repeatedly.
Indeed, yeah, and there was on video calls. She at least on 2 occasions masturbated for him or whatever. Yeah. So clearly there was a pretty significant intent here. This isn't the innocent, sweet little thing that he's pretending it is. I've been in contact with her.
By the way, she talks about this. Yeah, she talks about all of this in her video. So we're not revealing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not doxing anything here. We're literally in the video that's on the screen. Which, if you wanted to, you can go and follow the link and all the rest of it.
I'll retweet it. So if you follow my account, you can see it.
Indeed. And it appears it was a pretty brutal piece of manipulation on his part, because he was holding out the idea that he was going to she was going to move in with him, potentially involved in some polyamorous relationship, which seemingly was never on the cards.
She was interviewed by his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed, there was screening from his then girlfriend involved again, which is, if it's just a fun little bit of nonsense on the internet, that seems a bit intense, really. And the manipulation got to the point where content warning upcoming here for the ultimate self-harm. She twice attempted suicide because of this. She is an autistic person who he has seemingly taken advantage of and is now trying to shit all over in his own defense. It's pretty disgusting. I thank you to Essence of Thought, by the way, for putting me in touch with her and suggesting me in the same way that he did with the former ACA members and the whole transphobia gate thing. which I did on my channel. I'm looking to have her on my channel at some point in the near future to discuss all of this, because initially when Essence of Thought got in contact with me about this, he said that this person wasn't sure whether they wanted to do a thing yet, and basically if Pig Puncher had left it, then she was just going to move on. Like, you didn't, she wasn't going to bring it up again. She was just going to move on with her life. But of course, he couldn't let it go because he's just an awful person. So she wants to have her say now. So I'm going to offer her whatever small platform I have to put her shit across. And yeah, it's a fascinating and brutal story in many respects.
Yeah, is she on YouTube? Because I watched this on Twitch. I don't know if she's on YouTube.
I don't think she is on YouTube. No.
Well, it might be worth having it on YouTube because that's where he is now. So have more than one side of the story at least up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, I do have a Twitch account. I don't use it.
Oh.
I only signed up for it so I could donate to the H Bomber guys.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Hamfister.
Garbage. Absolute garbage.
Okay. So, yeah. This happened also while the protests and the other things were happening. The journalists who were reporting on it got arrested by the police. Like, they just came up to him, like, see it here.
Yeah, well, way to go, Minnesota police.
Yeah.
You're definitely helping, repair the enormous amount of damage to your reputation by arresting free press members. Well done.
Yeah.
You fucking idiots.
This is a scene here playing out in Minneapolis.
Way to show yourself as not authoritarian.
Advanced police presence that we
do. All right. Oh, right here. We'll get there.
Near the area. And so we walked away. I'm sorry?
You're under arrest.
Okay. Do you mind?
He's nowhere near anything. There's a whole wall of cops, and then it's empty.
Why am I under arrest, sir?
Officer's with CNN, and he's on the air right now.
Okay.
This is unbelievable.
We told you before that we are with CNN.
Jesus Christ. Live on TV.
Yep. And they're not doing anything to the camera.
Just tuning in,
just him.
Yeah.
You
also interesting.
Are watching our.
Yeah, go ahead.
Interesting how brave they're prepared to be with a journalist at 5 a.m. They weren't so fucking brave at 10 p.m. the previous night. Weren't going around arresting that many people at that point. They were kind of cowering. Again, just goes to show you, the police are pretty pathetic, actually, when it comes to the crunch. They'll arrest this guy for doing nothing.
Literally just standing there doing his job as a member of the protected state mentioned in the Constitution.
Yeah, exactly. Trump will lose his shit because he got fact-checked.
Yeah, on Twitter.
I dare say he won't be tweeting out, it's actually terrible that this journalist, even if I disagree with him politically, got shut down in this way. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And let's say, but just from an optics point of view, he's live on TV. Leave it be. The fuck is he doing? Look, you've got shit on fire. You've got bigger things to deal with, surely.
I want to hear, sorry, because I had it on pause because you were talking and then I had to hold it and then I had to let it go and then it got messed up. We were at like minute 140. Oh, what the fuck?
Okay, I'll shut up to the end.
No. I just wanted to hear.
We walked away.
Under arrest. I want to hear what the news.
Kristi, I'll get the message.
What?
I'll get the message. I'll be quiet.
No.
It's my channel, but no, it's fine. It's fine.
No, because I took my hand because it was on there for so long, and then I took it off. It got messed up. I wanted to hear how CNN, because a woman reporter or the news anchor was just about to say something when I paused it. So I just want to hear.
Presumably it'd be fake news.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play.
Okay.
You are arresting him live on CNN. We told you before that we are with CNN.
She's, I think, about to say something now.
If you're just tuning in, you are watching our correspondent, Omar Jimenez, being arrested by state police in Minnesota. We're not sure why our correspondent is being arrested.
Hang on one second, Allison. Let's listen into what these officers are saying.
Are they going to arrest the camera person who is with him? Or just him? Like,
No, just a black guy.
That is an American television reporter, Omar Jimenez, being led away by police officers. He clearly identified himself as a reporter.
And the camera
he
person
was respectfully explaining to the state police that our CNN team was there and moving away as they would request. And then for some reason,
So yeah, this timeline sucks.
So in order to prove they weren't authoritarian racists, they arrested the one journalist of color in the residence.
Yeah.
And left the white guy
camera
there.
is now on the ground because our cameraman has been handcuffed. Our correspondent, Omar Jimenez, was also led away in handcuffs, as was his producer.
I can't even...
they've arrested... Oh, Jesus.
Yep, they arrested the camera person, too. This is a 6-minute clip, obviously.
And I love the fact they've still got the chyron on, and it's like vertical now.
Yeah.
That's mental.
They were standing where they were told to stand. Previously, by police, they were out of the way. We don't know why they're being arrested. They're not being given any explanation, as far as we can hear, for why
because the
being
Minnesota
arrested.
police are fucking shit. The Minnesota police are authoritarian garbage of the worst kind. What the fuck?
I know. What did I just watch?
I can't believe I hadn't seen this.
No, I saw the headlines.
Madness.
I hadn't watched the video yet. And I mean, you have to watch the video on this. You absolutely have to watch the video. It's unbelievable.
This is the camera angle they use to like show dystopian future thing.
Yeah, like zombie movie kind of shit.
The beginning of a fucking apocalypse movie. This is going to cut to like that grey and white screen, and then zoom out, and it'll be the protagonist of the main story.
Yeah, like Cloverfield, or was it the Children of Men?
The Men of Children.
Yeah. By the way,
Children of the Corn.
Can we take a tangent here?
3 men and a baby.
There we go. There's a tangent. No, I wanted to because you were talking about camera angles and sort of like apocalyptic films and stuff. Complete change because I need to go to a different emotional space right now. I can't process all of this at once, and I have to keep talking. So I'm gonna just change the subject for a little bit to cope. I watched. I just binged Kingdom or The Kingdom on Netflix. Have you seen it, Kevin?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
I've been watching Bundesliga.
Oh, you've just been straight 24 hours a day, just football as much.
Yeah, I've actually because they show because that's the only thing that's happening. You can watch all of them. They were playing literally all like games between teams you've barely heard of.
But you're loving it. You're just there for it.
Beautiful. Yeah. I live for this shit.
Okay. All right. Well, I binged this show called Kingdom or The Kingdom. I guess, I don't know. It was done in 2020, so it's a new thing that Netflix did as an original series. So let me just pitch this to you as a concept. All right?
Right.
Get a period drama, right? Costume drama, right? But it's set in China. Right. And it's a sort of adventure, well, not really adventure, it's a movie that ends up turning out being about zombie kind of vampire beings.
Right.
And then it's that for like 12 episodes. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing.
It's I mean, it's not quite Sharknado, but it sounds mental.
It was. Okay. I just and it has some of the parts of a traditional sort of Eastern Asian film. It's got some fight scenes, but it's not heavy in the kung fu or anything. But there's plenty of fight scenes, and it's kind of got you didn't watch Game of Thrones, but yeah, if you want just pure escapism, I recommend it.
Is it as good as White Chicks?
Well, you'll have to watch and tell me.
Well, obviously it isn't then, because if it was even as good as White Chicks, you'd say yes.
Oh, that's true. I mean, if it's not the new bar, then White Chicks, obviously.
Yeah.
Still is the reigning champ.
Powerful movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw this video about this person here with all black and a mask and a black umbrella.
An umbrella?
Yep.
Is it raining?
This is at the Minneapolis.
Isn't it fucking summer? What?
Yeah. So this is at Ann. I don't know how many auto zones there are in Minneapolis. If there's just the one, I'd kind of be surprised. But it says the Minneapolis auto zone. So this person just goes around breaking shit up. And people are like, what the fuck? Why don't you stop? People are like, what are you doing, man? Right? And then guess who gets blamed for this vandalism, right? As the other protests are going on. But they followed this person around. First thing that just like, he's got on this massive mask, like a gas mask.
You wanna go? What's up?
And it's a white guy. And it's a white guy.
Right.
So it's a white guy all dressed up, smashing stuff in an area where black people are protesting and shit's going down.
Right.
Seem a bit of, what do you call those, agitators? Or when you go and you do stuff to make it look like your enemy has been...
Agent provocateur.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Then get a load of this. Kind of like scares people off, whatever. Goes over here and like collects a kid.
What?
He's got like a
So
kid.
he dropped his kid off at daycare.
Well,
a little bit of window smashing, then fucked off.
basically. And some people are chanting, he's a cop, he's a cop.
Well, he's a dick, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's weird. What the? Who brings a kid to a riot? What?
I don't know, man.
That's some people. What? Again, white people. The fuck? Well, that's some serious fuckery.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was just a kid following him, but he seemed fine with the kid being there, and they were walking together. So that's
well,
some
they're
kind
walking together. Yeah.
Yeah, relationship.
I do hope he knows that kid. Fucking hell.
Right. Yeah. So again, this is where did that video just disappear to? Oh, yeah. All right. Too many things. This was the cop I was telling you about. Can I go ahead and play this?
That's not George Floyd.
No, that's the topic. All right. So I thought that this kind of touched my heart, so people can see what they think.
Let's talk things that happen in Minneapolis.
Is that too loud for you, Kevin?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I thought it might have been. I'm kind of getting a ballpark of where your sensitivities are, so I'll adjust and restart. Okay.
Yeah, well, my sensitivity is entirely based in Piers Morgan's pants.
There you go. Okay, so now to a more serious topic. Switch again.
Let's talk things that happen in Minneapolis, cop standpoint, right? I'm disgusted with the things that happen in Minneapolis. Period, point blank. Things could have went way different. At the end of the day, let's talk facts. Guy is on the ground. He's laying on his stomach. He have handcuffs on. It's 4 of y'all, 1 of him. 4 of y'all, 1 of him. Who has control of this situation? It's not much one person could do against 4 people. Now let's get deeper, right? As an officer, you are a first responder, right? So if in the midst of you trying to gain compliance, someone is hurt, you have to render aid. So somebody's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. You don't think to yourself and say, oh my gosh, this guy can't breathe. He might die. Let me render aid, right? Another point, officers, other officers, if you're going to be an officer that's going to stand there and not help when things go wrong, come on, like you don't see that? That's the reason I got behind this badge, right? Because I want them officers that's afraid to step up, I want to be the one to step up. If I see wrong happening, wrong is not happening in my presence, right? I'm going to check it. And that's period.
So,
well,
yeah.
I don't deny,
I just wanted to, it's not to you, I just wanted to, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of police officers that don't do that.
No, I agree. But that's the kind of officer I'd want showing up if something happened and I needed an officer,
Okay, but he talks a game. I have no idea whether he's any good.
Okay. So from Sandy, if you're white and you're not talking about it in order to stay neutral, you are not neutral, you're just racist. Harsh, but yep. Oh, people were trolling Mark Zuckerberg about not fact-checking posts and calling him various things.
Not surprising that he's come out on Trump's side, considering little known fact, he was one of the first people to ring and congratulate Trump on his success in 2016.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
his campaign had spent a lot of money with
with Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And super PACs and things as well.
Yep. So, do you remember Eric Swalwell from the impeachment hearings?
I do, yes.
Well, he was tearing it up on Twitter the other day. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll be Richard Grenmell, and you can be Eric Swalwell. Okay?
Okay, what accent am I putting on?
American. California, maybe.
Howdy, y'all. Howdy, y'all. No, I'll just do my accent.
Okay. Those are coming.
I could do it as Paul Joseph Watson to make it sound fucking surreal. That'd be mental.
That would be mental. Yes.
That
would not fit at all. All right. Those are coming. It's very important for the public to see all of them. For too long, the public has been misled. Just compare your committee's transcripts to your public statements. Hashtag troubling.
TikTok. Those are coming. Well, you're no longer director and the Flynn tapes never came. All you have to show for your work is the dirt on your boots from shoveling and burying evidence for Donald Trump. Hashtag show us the tape. Who's Richard Grenell then?
I guess he was the guy who was running something along like the investigation for Flynn. We can look him up later, but it's the same one. So go ahead.
Also, the guy who spread quote unquote Russian propaganda is the one who asked Russia to hack his opponent. It's also the guy who said he believed Putin over the intelligence officers you betrayed. The guy is at real Donald Trump. You chose to enable him. I choose to check him. I choose to wreck him.
All right. So then Richard says, you spent tens of millions of taxpayer dollars weaponizing the U.S. government and telling Americans there was massive collusion. Your own committee interviewed more than 50 people under oath, and they all said the same thing. They know of no collusion. But on TV, you said the opposite.
Well, that's bollocks.
Yeah.
Also, since when was the U.S. government not weaponized?
True.
When did that happen? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay. Weaponize. That's what I did. That's a bit of deep cut law for everyone. Huh? Anyway, weaponize, ? History lesson. Democrats were in the minority for the Russia investigation. It was a GOP-led investigation that allowed witnesses to not answer questions. And the Mueller investigation came from at-real Donald Trump's appointees. So show us the Flynn tapes or buzz off. Week ending. Buzz off.
Yes.
That's a shame. I know you can't say "fuck off, you massive prick," but it would be nice. You kind of wish you did.
All right. I read the transcripts. There were lots of questions from Democrats. Lots. You just didn't find any collusion when they were under oath. So the transcripts weren't the only thing you didn't leak to the DC media. Were the only thing you didn't leak. Sorry, to the DC media.
Did you read? Manafort gave polling data to Russians. At real Donald Trump lied about Trump Tower Moscow deal during the 2016 primary season. Junior meeting with the Russians in Trump Tower. At real Donald Trump asking Russia to hack Hillary Clinton. Read it again, motherfucker. I added that last bit.
Yeah. Normally members of Congress would never do this before. Now they just totally get into Twitter wars. It's kind of weird.
Well, it's a part of the political process now. Like before, politicians never used to go on TV.
Yeah.
And now everyone knows you got to go on TV. You got to be everywhere,
Septic Snowman here with the receipts, writing, you're either talking about the protests and what sparked them, or you're Andy No, deflecting the conversation toward black people are bad in sort of like offset marks, which, of course, is exactly the kind of racist mentality that sparked the protests in the first place.
Yeah, Andy, shut the fuck up and go and pick up your beans, dickhead.
Yeah. So as in just being a dick. Yeah, helping white supremacists again.
That's a reference to him lying about dropping beans.
Yes.
He said he dropped beans.
Suddenly developed
because of
accent.
the severe head injury. Fuck off.
Scott Baio tried to take on Wanda Sykes.
See, now that's a celebrity boxing match I would watch. Because Baio, all I'm saying is, Baio's he's not getting to the decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'd lose the decision, but he's not going the full. Not at all.
Do you want to read his bit?
I do. Yes. It says, I've got a chin, I can take you on. Bring it. He doesn't say that at all, isn't it?
Okay.
Well, that's the kind of smack talk he would come up with. That's the kind of weak source bullshit he'd come up with.
But you have to white splain
it. Hey, at I am Wanda Sykes, why is it okay for at Joe Biden to say something clearly racist, but the real Roseanne gets kicked off her own show that you are a writer on for making a mistake? Is it because you're full of shit? Huh?
I like the ha at the end. That was.
I like to mix up a bit of cadence nonsense, bit of business.
Okay.
Oh, hello, traffic. Cologne traffic.
Yeah, you're back.
Lovely stuff.
It only took till almost June.
Exactly. Germany's healing.
All right. So Wanda writes, "Oh, hey Chachi, apologies, I didn't see you."
That's a little, again, to use the fight parlance, that's a quick little jab to the jaw. She's not letting him settle. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Apologies, I didn't see you. I'll keep it short. Joe Biden didn't say, "Then you ain't an ape." Well, let me get back to work. I hope you enjoy whatever it is that you do.
Oh, she's employed. Do you remember when people used to pay you to do things?
No, yep, that's been a while. Oh, Scott Baio's a piece of shit. Oh, I just thought this looked like Carl.
It does. Well, it looks like Carl after some slimming activity.
After some what?
Put it that way. Slimming. And slimming. He's lost some weight.
Okay, I guess this guy's got pretty hefty arms. Yeah.
And he's got tats, cool tats, and his beard isn't mental, and he's got an awesome tricorner hat. He's probably garbage, but yeah.
Yeah, I just
saying.
Scrolling by that and went, oh my gosh, when did Carl start hanging out with these people?
Whoa. Let's not bury the lead. Look at that fucking beard on the right.
This guy?
Oh, that is delicious.
Right here. You want to see the
Look
picture?
at that. That is a beauty.
That's like,
again, he's almost certainly garbage as a human being, but if he dies because of the coronavirus, because he's out in the open rather than can you keep his beard for me?
All right.
Like that doesn't deserve to go to the grave. That beard needs to live on.
All right. So moving on. Hey, look, Wisconsin election officials agree to send voters ballot applications. Yay, basic democracy. Yeah. We have to actually take that as good news these days.
Yeah. Lovely bit of hypocrisy coming up regarding that.
Oh, okay.
In my section, my erection section.
Did you get Cernovich and Gorka beefing?
Oh no! But again, I would watch that bout.
Right.
I don't know. Well, actually, Cernovich has got muscle, but because he's so fucking ridiculous, so rippled with it, he's so like it's steroid on fucking. He might have a heart attack. So I don't know. Like I don't know who I'm taking in that bout. Well, again, I don't think it's going to a decision. I think one of them's going to die before they get there.
All right. So should we?
Can you tell I'm jonesing for some sport? Can you tell?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm going fucking cold turkey with this. It's ridiculous. I'm shaking.
All right. Can I zoom in on this? No, that's the best I can do. All right. Okay. Do you want to read? Should we read this out?
Okay.
All right. I'll be at Mike. I'll start out because there's a lot of text and I know it's pretty small, so I don't want to give you a lot of lines. Conservatives express outrage over George Floyd's murder. The media made it about race. Even though 2 of the 4 police officers' murders were people of color, now there are riots. The media gets its ratings. In Hoaxed, we show how the media divides. We support love and unity. All right.
I just want to point out, when he says he supports love and unity, he's a self-admitted rapist. I just think that's worth always mentioning.
Yeah.
Mike Cernovich is a rapist by his own admission. Anyway, if you support love and unity, in quotes, perhaps you shouldn't label people murderers before they're actually convicted.
Oh, of course.
Imagine,
yeah, violent, sexy.
Imagine how much of a shitbag you are to give Mike "I'm a rapist" Cernovich the high ground on you.
Yeah,
fucking
seriously?
hell.
Have you seen the video? Ooh. All right, Cernovich says, "LOL, you're leaning way too hard into the back of the blue grift, Seb. Let the actual Americans sort this one out."
Oh, that's the thing. If you're going to be a foreigner in this part of the world, in that part of the political spectrum, that's going to get thrown up at you every time. Yeah, you're not fucking American. Shouldn't matter. But if you're going to join the racist side, what do you expect?
Yep.
Anyway, quote unquote, actual Americans? Question mark. Are the xenophobic gorilla. What the fuck? The xenophobic gorilla exposes himself. I hope he didn't. Because again, after the steroids, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It's like an innie at this point, I think. That was too easy. Such the immigrant hater. Imagine that. Republican's an immigrant hater. Next, you will be. What does he think of Donald Trump's immigrant hatred?
Yeah.
Because he seems to constantly be trying to deep throat him, even though he's not big enough to be deep throated. Anyway, next you will be plugging Fuentes.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh no! Again, if that sex tape exists, I'd probably watch it just out of morbid curiosity. You never know, because that's the thing. You'd never know where your kink might arise. That could be it. Two Nazis going fucking mental on one another. Anyway. And his little white supremacist trolls before you insult Melania for not being actually American too.
Okay, this is kind of a weird flex coming
Or
again.
Donald Trump for being an anchor baby. Just saying.
So Cernovich writes back, "You're literally defending the murder of a black American. Do you have your KKK mask or that medal you wore or whatever Nazi shit that you kept from getting a security clearance?"
What the? This is some of the weirdest Nazi flexing I've ever seen. This is some. I don't know. They're like, no, I like immigrants, and I'm defending a black person. What planet is this? This is really. What? It's what?
I know my brain is melting.
2020. Look, I've got some stuff coming up about 2020. Right? This
might have to go.
It's testing me. 2020. Yeah, it's fucking testing me. This is mental.
This was from the 28th. So
I'm the most immigrant-loving Nazi you've ever met. That's a weird fucking maneuver. It's powerful. Don't get me wrong, but it's strange.
I love that gif.
Boom. Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful.
Here I will. Sorry. The @ button is in a weird spot on a German keyboard. You have to press whatever's to the right.
Even that @ button has to be mental in Germany. What's wrong with that place? Jesus.
Well, they have a lot more letters to represent. So.
Well, not a lot more letters. They've got that weird B squiggly thing that's pronounced as an S.
And the U and
I don't know what
the
the
O
fuck that's called.
And the A and the E, right? So.
Hey-o.
Anyway. No, just the O. Sorry. Okay. I was thinking of French. Right, Robert Reich again.
You think? Well, surely, if you're thinking of O in French, that's water. Lovely stuff. My GCSE French comes to fucking rescue me. Lovely.
All right, we already talked about the Minneapolis, story, so I'm gonna kind of skip some references because you still have your stuff to get through. Right.
Oh, this is what I was talking about, the hypocrisy.
Which fucker?
No, this was what I was talking about, the hypocrisy about the mail-in voter stuff, because she's done it 11 times. Apparently.
Yes. It's ridiculous. Again,
so she's openly engaging in a threat to democracy.
Apparently.
She's trying to steal an election. I think Donald Trump and his team might be full of fucking shit.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, serious turn. You guys might have seen already, but this kind of sums it up. I can't breathe versus I don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Black Lives Matter is apparently more of a threat than, is it okay if I spread a deadly disease because I want a haircut?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to Krispy Kreme more than I want my neighbours to not die.
Yeah. And a journalist who's just doing his job gets arrested, but this guy literally screaming in the face of officers, nothing. All of them are being confrontational.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Oh, yes, Candace Owens still being a piece of shit. Do you want to actually hear her?
No, I've seen this. Yeah. She calls black people chimpanzees. Because, but she doesn't pander to racists for a living. That's silly.
Oh, wait.
She's not a token. Kristi, don't. It's outrageous.
Yeah, when she stopped thinking with her skin color, that's when the money really started to come in. Right. Oh, I think with my brain, not the color of my skin is a quote from her on the Prager channel. I didn't just make that up.
Yeah. I need to get back to ragging on fucking Prager.
Mm.
I want to get back to I want the new normal to be quite a bit like the old normal, but with fewer Nazis maybe.
That'd be nice. I thought you liked this. Have you seen this yet? Say.
I don't know if you have it because of that, but I tweeted this to you.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have it. Yes, and that might be why. So yes,
this is the Dean of Canterbury Cathedral just giving a sermon over whatever Zoom, maybe, I don't know. And his cat steals the fucking show.
Definitely.
Cat has zero respect for this sermon.
All right, so here we go.
For Jesus and finding the people around too many for them to.
Oh, that cat is a savage. That cat doesn't give a fuck.
That cat's like, oh look, a tent for me. If it fits, I sit.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a great place to look at.
I'm going to claw this guy's cock. I'm going to claw this guy's junk.
Well, when
whilst he tries to give a sermon.
When birds hop down to look for worms, and he's in his little cubby hole.
You say little worms. Look at him. Look at his back problems he's got. He's hung like a fucking baboon. What are you talking about? Look at him.
Oh.
He's packing some serious rod, that man.
All right. So the transformed wife. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay.
She's transformed though.
Yeah.
And she's a wife.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's literally, she loves Jesus and being a Christian wife. She writes, feminism is about death. Death to marriage, death to biblical values, death to femininity, death to babies. And then Black Rose Zombie writes, feminism is metal as fuck. Which I thought was kind of
death to babies.
Yeah, if you're going to be ridiculous like that.
Death to babies sounds like, Death to babies sounds like something that like a really edgy 16-year-old metal band would call like a song or something.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, the whole thing is they keep forgetting that there are instructions on how to, if you think your wife has been unfaithful and become pregnant, to take her to the local priest. The priest will give her an herb, and if she's been messing around behind your back, there will be an abortion. And then you can go back to having sex with your wife. You don't have to worry about having another man's kid. Actual instructions in the Bible.
Yeah. I bet Joseph a few years in was like, oh, fuck, I didn't know about that rule. What?
All right. Did you see
Stop
this?
raising this fucking knob. He's not even magic yet. He won't be magic for years. I've got to clean up his shitty ass. Ugh.
Hey, here's some time team stuff. Here's some time team stuff for you.
That's really weird. Why have they only excavated really well that one bit?
Because they did
the rest of it out.
They just found it. They just found it.
Well, yeah, but they've literally cleaned it all up for like photo purposes. Dig the rest of it out. What are you doing? I mean, I don't want to be rough, but it just seems really strange that they've look how tightly packed in that man is.
Like, it just seems to me a very
look how
weird...
sharp the corner is. Well, it's just odd. It's beautiful though. It's lovely stuff. Where is this?
Yep, we're about to look and see.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I have to just find the slightly darker
Roman
gray.
mosaic.
Oh yeah, just outside of Verona. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
The home of Hellas Verona and Chievo Verona. Those are two football teams. There's
so much going on to be outraged about. It's kind of sometimes hard to keep track of all the bullshit, but this is also something that happened. I don't think we've covered it on a show yet. Bill Barr's Department of Justice has dropped its insider trading investigation into Kelly Loeffler and other senators. No charges will be filed.
Oh, so when they found out about the thing and they sold stocks to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evil. Yeah.
Imagine that. All right, that's the Trump getting his wrist slapped. Oh, and we're back to Amy Cooper. So that must be the end of my bookmarks. So I guess it's going to be time to stop sharing and share with, have you share. So let me do that. Okay. Cool.
Here we go. Oh, pardon me. Just did a big burp into the microphone. Don't know if that was picked up.
A little bit, yeah.
Anyway. Yep. Well, you're welcome. No extra charge. That was where I finished off last time with
That's
just
right, because you always want to
bit of
start and end.
sacrilegiousness. Exactly, yeah. You always want to start and end with titties. Absolutely. So quality
I'm going to eat
start.
popcorn now, by the way. I've been secretly eating it, but I'm going to be less secret now.
Okay. Yeah, this is. I love the convoluted nonsense involved in the QAnon stuff.
Okay.
These are some great diagrams. Look how mental that is. Look at all the shit there. COVID
Okay.
/ 5G. That's the center of it. And then there's like the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act. Okay. Depopulation. That's going really well. Fucking coming up on, was it 7 billion, 8 billion, whatever the fuck we're at now in the world. Brilliant.
I'm looking at the bottom
and they
lines.
they don't come up with one of them. Yeah. Rockefeller Medicine as well, I just noticed.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. That sounds like a band. Look at that one. What fuck is going on there?
On the one you were just going past, the Great Awakening is on the bottom, as well as near the election. You see there, it says on the left, it says landslide, and then on the right, it says mail-in ballots.
And planetary liberation. The fuck does that mean?
Does that say Borg mind on the far right?
Where's that?
That's under enslavement of humanity. So after mail-in ballots, keep reading. This is enslavement of humanity, Borg
Enslavement
mind.
of humanity, Borg mind, and then a picture of a little brain.
Yes.
There's a little picture of a brain. What? I think we know what you mean. You didn't. I didn't realise that little. Also, UN, just generally, just UN.
Yeah.
Or do they mean Kim Jong Un? I don't know. Oh,
yes.
It's a nightmare. Henry Kissinger.
What?
Look at that. He's the cross section of things.
What?
He's the cross section of Nazis and Rockefeller medicine. Yeah.
That's
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Yeah. Yeah, and I just wanted to show you just how ridiculous they are. It's such nonsense. Whoever the Q person is probably started off thinking, "Oh, this will be a bit of fun," and this is mental.
From a full-time job. Oh, there it is, the Great Awakening again.
Yeah, Great Awakening. Oh, yeah, they love all that bollocks.
Secret
Look
space
at this one.
program.
Look at this. Pharaohs of Egypt. Canaanites. This is mental. And then USA at the bottom. Okay.
Why is the USA there?
I like this as a continuum. This one central line here is Canaanites.
Yeah. To
Vatican.
Yeah. Then
to Switzerland. Of course, why not? And then to Illuminati, and then USA.
Which is a combination of the Masons, the Jesuits, and the Illuminati. That's the
and you've got the Knights Templar, the Romans, Judea, Khazar. Okay, I don't know. I mean, who's ragging on the Jesuits? This is not the 18th century. Give it a rest. Fuck's sake! It's like some Martin Luther bullshit. Anyway, so I just like showing that because it's mad. And this, by the way, if anyone's wondering, this hashtag is where we go one, we go all, is their slogan, which is really complicated when you could just say, like, we're all in it together or something. Like, it's such a ridiculous. It's shit. Anyway,
I'm sure it has a secret code behind it that we just don't understand, Kevin.
Of course, but whereas the Q people do understand, even though literally nothing they've ever said has ever happened. But other than that, they're nailing it. Just when says, man, if conservative voices are being silenced on social media, how come they never shut the fuck up?
Good point.
Difficult to argue with that.
Yeah.
Really. This is quite a nice one. Trump tweeted this out, right? He retweeted this from the name. The person's called Trump is dumb, sloppy, and moist. Because it quotes Lou Dobbs saying he's arguably the greatest president in our history. Didn't bother even checking the name of the thing. Okay, brilliant.
Oh, that's a picture you want for your
stable genius, people.
You're gonna show your grandkids that picture.
Yeah.
President Trump retweeted me calling him dumb, sloppy, and moist.
And moist. That's weird. I don't know what the moist's coming from.
Right before he contracted COVID.
Well, certainly.
Because he doesn't wear a mask.
It's up and down. This is not just an emotional roller coaster. This is emotional cliff falling at times. really serious point. The UK media love a racism story from the US. They don't keep the same energy for racism in the UK. That's very true. They like to, dare I say, virtue signal, especially the right-wing media, about how racist they are in America. Oh, the police are so racist.
Yep.
And that's true.
Yep.
But you get some bullshit over here, and they're like, oh, we're not racist. Don't be fucking silly.
Yeah, we're the least
Just 'cause it
racist
happens-
people ever.
Yeah, we're post-racial. Okay? Post-racial. Caitlin Bennett, the gun girl who, lest we forget, shat herself, says, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this isn't how George Floyd would want to be remembered. And the serfs just pipe up with a nice, yeah, I wouldn't want a crypto-fascist shat herself saying my name either.
Yeah, shut up, white woman. I mean, seriously, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
about
seriously.
This.
Like,
keep your mouth shut.
Fuck off.
Most respectful thing you can do right now is shut up and listen and lift up and other people's voices, not yours.
Yeah.
People who should be heard.
And when we say lift up black people's voices, we don't really mean Candace Owens or Kanye. Anyway. Yes, so we covered that Trump massive hypocrisy.
Yep.
Ridiculous. What's this? Oh, yeah, this is the thing. Again, to distract from the hashtag Harem-gate thing, the British government associate, they started doing this thing called the track and trace, or whatever the fuck it is, system, where, because they're going to open up, and not just open up a little bit, they're going to basically open everything up in the next couple of weeks, regardless of the fact that we're actually seeing a small increase. It could be a blip, it could be a temporary thing, who knows, but certainly something to worry about. And a report came out this week saying that opening up schools at this point was a really, really fucking bad idea.
Yeah,
they're still going to do it.
Which is what teachers are saying and have been saying the whole time. Yeah, go ahead.
Indeed. So they've started this track and trace scheme where if you come down with COVID, they're going to trace the people you've come into contact with. And tell them all, like, oh, can you please maybe sort of do an isolation thing, maybe, you know? And part of that is this new app thing they've got going on, which, by the way, if you give Dominic Cummings your information, you're a fucking idiot. Sorry. Like, that's, whatever happens at that point, that's on you. He's got previous on this. Anyway, this is just how it started. A contract tracer.
I'm sorry, just to say Cambridge Analytica. You know,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To make it explicit, just to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he used his private information for his own personal political fuckery. Is the point anyway? A contact tracer who was meant to be starting his shift at 8 a.m. tells me it's been a complete shambles. Direct quote there. So far, he was only emailed at 10:30 last night. So that's what 9.5 hours before his shift started. To be told that the system was going live anyway. He still hasn't received his password to log in, and the website has crashed.
What a fuck up.
And they use the same software developer that fucked up the national NHS database a few years ago and cost us like 9 billion, was it, or something? For nothing.
Jesus.
So it's almost like they're being funded by, the Tories are being funded by the same people they're now giving massive public contracts to. Corruption. Anyway, yeah, these people are desperately looking for any reason to vote for Trump over Biden.
Yeah.
This is Joan Head. Again, like I say, I don't know who the we is she's referring to here. Going on about Trump shit and, all the rest of it. And where are we? Says here, how is MAGA more responsible than the Dems? Trump supporter, this was murder. Amy Klobuchar, RIP, an African-American man whom died mysteriously from not breathing, is so sad when people pass away. What's that got to do with it?
She's standing Trump supporters now.
Yeah. Well, not a surprise. She's been doing it for years.
Which is, now she's at least doing it out. She is doing it out in the open. Yeah, you're not left, June. You're a fucking grifter.
Yeah. This was a bad historical slip, let's say. The Hill put out, anti-Semitic crime in Germany at highest level recorded. Corrected, anti-Semitic crime in Germany hits highest level in nearly 2 decades.
Fuck's sake.
That's,
Seriously?
That's probably a bit better. That's a bit better. Anyway. Yeah, so Donald Trump retweeted this fucking thing. Trump retweeted this video in which a supporter says the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat. He clarifies he's not talking literally, but he told the Daily Beast on Wednesday that some Democrats might be guilty of treason and should get, quote, a firing squad or the rope.
Yeah, they're saying the quiet part out loud now. To the media.
So violence is really bad, unless it's a Democrat. That's fine.
Yeah, of course, that's how it always goes.
Yeah. This just made me laugh. Soup was invented in 1927 by John Soup when he wanted to taste a chicken. No, he wanted to drink a chicken. Yeah. It just made me laugh.
Okay.
I just put it in there. It seems really incongruent with the rest of the stuff we're talking about.
But that's how our show is, yeah.
Yeah. The UK, the second highest death rate from coronavirus, the worst in Europe by far.
Excess deaths. Deaths, yeah.
Yeah. John Boyega, absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
On Twitter, he plays the black guy that the racists didn't like from the Star Wars films.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
Yep.
Although he was thankfully one of the black actors that June hasn't called a gorilla, so that's good. He says, "I really fucking hate racists," and then this David Maris guy says, So you hate a group of people who hate a group of people? Pat yourself on the back, thumbs up." And then he goes, "Gimli, shush." But he rather than going, "You know what? I've been slapped there. I'll leave it be." He tries to pipe up. He thinks he's got chops, got nothing. He says, "So you are trying to insult me based on my appearance? Sound familiar? Oh yeah, that's what racists do."
Oh God, this is the white guy trying to get his.
John Boyega is not playing this bollocks. He says, "We'll meet you by Mordor with the rest of the Mandem. See you there, bro. We will get that ring. Bye." He's not fucking around.
He's not taking you seriously.
Not in the mood. Charlie Kirk, for fuck's sake. Right. I explained earlier about the fact that, the Boston Tea Party was
vandalism,
very
destruction.
Yeah, very similar to the things we're seeing right now. Less fire, of course, but, no less destruction, really. Charlie Kirk says, "If you loot, riot, or destroy, you lose all moral credibility in my eyes to protest injustice. Why is there no fucking full stop? You illiterate prick." Anyway, it's really not the point, though. But anyway, so the Boston Tea Party was bad then. And then this other fucking Charlie Kirk dick says, "The Boston Tea Party happened after years of protest fell on deaf ears of the King and Parliament. It was the only avenue left."
Try 400 years.
Yeah. And then someone pulls the sarcastic face meme thing. "Go away," tweet. There we go.
Yeah. That's basically the Americans doing Tim from The Office.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, but Martin Freeman was the one who coined the Tim stare. Just proper acknowledgement should be made.
You had Gorka versus Cernovich.
Yes.
I've got Ice-T versus Cernovich.
Oh my gosh, he's just going over everywhere. Okay.
Yeah. Cernovich says, Are you triggered, Ice? And Ice-T says, "No, but you're a little bitch for sure." Fair enough. Like he's not playing. Not playing. This, right. Now, I foreshadowed earlier. Ben Garrison, I can't believe I'm about to say this. It's this, again, 2020 has taken us to some fucking weird places. I'm about to give you not just a look at, but I'm going to give some praise to a Ben Garrison cartoon. This is going to happen on this show. This is a first and very possibly a last.
Yeah.
Who knows? But Ben Garrison made a cartoon, drew his cartoon in the usual style, artistically, but a lot better, about the situation in Minnesota. He produced this.
Oh my God, where's all the text?
Yeah, there's very little text.
Imagine
it says badge of dishonor. There's a wreath with RIP in the road, obviously for the this individual, but whatever. And then specifically the Minnesota police protecting the guy's knee. That's actually a really quite a nice, powerful image. It does the thing. There's not a ridiculous amount of excessive writing. that's actually a solid effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair play. Like, I'm not just a hater. I do fucking hate him, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah, you'll
that's
acknowledge
actually
when he's done something that you.
that's a solid.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not out of this world
No,
as political cartoons go, but it's fine.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
works,
negate
you know.
any of his other shit. But on this particular thing, you can go, you know what? This is a good way to artistically represent a very powerful point.
Yeah, good stuff. Well done, Ben. Now, I would say quit while you're ahead,
Retire.
because your track record does not suggest you could do 2 in a row that good. I didn't think you could do 1 in a row, but there we go. Oh god, again, roller coaster. For those that have never seen a catfish,
Okay.
and then boom,
It's a cat fishing.
it's a catfish. See, it's a
that's hilarious.
pun, and it's cute, and it's a cat fishing. So that's a triple win right there.
Yep. Very, very good.
Charlie Kirk again. If you loot, destroy, blah, 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 blah. And Cobb just points out the Boston Tea Party, but points out Charlie Kirk saying how great the Boston Tea Party was.
Yep.
I think you're an idiot, Charlie.
That would be accurate. Yeah. Just whatever is the most convenient at the time.
Yeah. Rory Katz being an absolute fucking legend. Look at him.
Adorable.
Look at him. Ledge. I think the Nazis may have backed the wrong horse here. Taylor Swift says, after stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority because before threatening violence, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, we will vote you out in November at real Donald Trump. Cool.
Go Taylor.
Because Nazis used to fucking love this woman.
Oh, right.
Just because she's white.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just because she looks Aryan.
Yeah.
You know. This one is a slap for both Ian Miles Chung, but also a supposed leftist. Ian Miles Chung tweeted this out. He deleted it because he doesn't want to get his account cancelled because,
Yep.
he's not as big as Donald Trump, so he can't just get away with having a warning. They'll probably get rid of him.
Yep.
He says when the shooting starts, the looting starts, the shooting starts, and then the picture of Trump, oh, look how powerful he is.
It was his
Hilarious.
pinned tweet.
That was his pinned tweet. He deleted it. Yeah.
Keep the receipts on that shit.
Yeah. And I just pointed out, so Peter Coffin's boss is kind of asking for police to gun down civilians. Interesting.
I mean, honest, true. Nothing wrong there,
Yeah.
but you decided to drag Peter into it. I'm not opposed. I'm just like, ooh, I didn't see that coming.
Well, I think it's just worth it because, when asked about it, he said he was proud of his work, taking a paycheck from Ian Miles Chung. So, if he's proud about it,
There you
go
go.
for it, man. Now, this, again, the white-splainiest shit you can imagine, right?
Oh, no.
Martin Luther King's son, Martin Luther King III, says, as my father explained during his lifetime, a riot is the language of the unheard. So he quotes him directly.
Yes.
Doesn't put quotation marks, but that is a direct quote that Martin Luther King actually said. To which Ray Hobgood, Whitey McWhiteman, decides to white-splain to Martin Luther King's son what Martin Luther King would have thought, even though he just quoted Martin Luther King, who was his dad.
Why are some white people like this?
He says, this is amazing. Your father was a brilliant man, but he wouldn't condone the riots. He thought there was a better way to deal with the issues.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Motherfucker, he just quoted him saying that the riots is the language of the unheard. That doesn't suggest to me he's saying riots are never okay. You dickhead. Who decides to...
Yeah.
I mean, just on an optics level, even if you think you've got him, it's Martin Luther King's son. Leave it. That's not a hill you want to die on, man.
Shut the fuck up, mediocre white man. Honestly.
Just goddamn. So again, 2020, man, fucking weird. This contains an N-word, a hard R N-word, but it is quoting a black man.
Okay.
But and that's that. It's another person of color who isn't black quoting a black person. Now think of the weirdest combination of that you can think of, and it won't be as weird as this.
All right. Let's see what we got.
This is former president of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, quoting Tupac Shakur.
Okay. Wow. Not on my 2020 bingo card.
Yeah, not 2020. What's happening? It's a good point as well. I mean, he is also a Holocaust denying piece of shit, Ahmadinejad. But you know, it's right on this one, and it's a good quote from a black thinker who was unfortunately also gunned down, albeit not by the police on that occasion. But yeah, 2020. What the fuck is that? And then 2020 decides to kick it up a notch today. I don't know if you saw this story. Monkeys.
What?
Attacked. This is in India. Some wild monkeys attacked someone working at a biology lab place that was testing for COVID-19 stuff, and made off with samples of COVID-19.
Okay, mind blown. And then read underneath. Did you see what it says? Obviously, you want to read that out because that's even more. One
of the primates was reported later spotted up a tree chewing one of the sample collection kits.
Great.
This
monkeys
is how
COVID.
This is how Planet of the Apes starts. What are they planning to do with this? Are they trying to weaponize this shit against us? I think we need to keep an eye on the monkeys. And I'm not talking about the 1960s pop band. I'm talking about the monkeys.
Yeah, the actual monkeys that are attacking people and stealing samples and then eating possibly infected samples. And then maybe giving it to other monkeys, and now we're going to have COVID-19, another crossover.
Oh God, we're going to have to be scared of getting into contact with monkeys. Not a massive problem in Britain, to be fair, but around the world, monkeys are a thing. Again, 2020, who had monkeys stealing deadly coronavirus on the bingo card,
chewing on potentially contaminated,
eating COVID. What the fuck is going on, 2020? Look, you're testing us now.
All right, I'm getting to the end. Okay, we got to wrap this up. My brain melting is. I can only do it 17 times a minute.
I'm done.
Okay, that was it with the end. Oh my gosh.
That was the last one. Yeah. I thought I'd end with two mental ones. So we had former president of Iran and Holocaust denier tweeting out a quote from Tupac Shakur using the hard N-word.
Actually, no, I looked at it. It was A at the end.
Oh, was it? Apologies.
Yeah.
Okay, but tweeting out a quote from Tupac Shakur.
Still, that's just bizarre.
Mental. Not wrong, but mental. And then thieving, monkey, disease spreading, eating, mentalness. What?
Again,
and also, I feel really sorry for that lab assistant who's just trying to do a job and gets attacked by some monkeys. What the fuck?
Maybe we're not out of the food chain
explaining
anymore.
That day. Imagine explaining that day to someone. Oh, fuck,
Imagine explaining it to the patient.
Virus. Yeah.
Oh,
where'd you get the scratches from? I was attacked by some monkeys. Fuck off. Where'd you get the scratches from?
I mean, the people, unless it had been reported in the news, but can you imagine if your doctor's office called up and said, "Oh, can you come back in? We need to retake your test. A monkey ate our homework."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck you. Oh, God. Imagine you're going to have to do that phone call to be like, oh, this could be an elaborate ruse. They lost it and they thought, what
exactly
excuse can we come up with?
That's what I would think.
Mental enough that they'll be distracted and they won't question.
A monkey? What? Tuesday? Yeah, that's fine. But the hello? That would be
exactly. Bad. Tell me more about this monkey story. What's happening here? Yeah, you can have. Yeah, I'll send the swabs over before. Yeah, cool. You can have all of the spit you like in whatever container you like. Tell me about these fucking monkeys.
That's not really how they do coronavirus tests, though.
I don't know.
No, they stick them to the back of your nasal passage, and people say it feels like they're trying to scrape at your brain.
Wow. Okay.
It's kind of a pain in the ass.
That sounds way worse.
Yeah. All right. So you ran out of stuff. I ran out of stuff. We both had a pretty good rant about how much fucking white racism and white supremacy sucks and is deadly.
Well,
kills.
Yeah. Keemstar's a prick.
Oh yeah. We were going to talk maybe about the H3H3 Keemstar, but obviously that just seemed completely. I mean, I'm sure it's important to them because it's their lives, but there were more important things to talk about.
Garbage. It's not breaking news, but
Yeah, I came across this one channel. I think it's called Yo Mama, and they were going to cover the. It is actually called, or Yo-Yo Mama. I don't really remember now. They have a million subscribers, but whatever. I don't.
I say no. Yo-Yo Mama just sounds like a middle-aged woman who's doing a channel about yo-yoing.
No, but that's not what it was. Well, anyway,
again, I'd watch that. That sounds alright.
they were they were going to cover the H3 Keemstar stuff, but then they discovered he was had all these white supremacist ties. I'm like, yeah, where have you been for the last 2 years? But I sometimes forget that there are people on YouTube who don't know all the things that I know about bullshit white supremacy stuff.
Well, there's loads of stuff I don't know. Like there's channels I've come across, either through recommendations or I see a link somewhere. And you go on it and they've got like 2 million subscribers. I've never heard of them.
Yeah, that's true.
These people, because it's completely different, like circles.
But I mean,
like
Keemstar's
makeup or lifestyle or something.
Yeah, but Keemstar was actually on the stream that was at the center of the controversy about St. Jude's and everything. And he bailed on that when people started saying horrible things. But I guess maybe he didn't get as much of the blowback, or that's not as associated with him because he's done so many other shit things. So
yeah, it's kind of the Trump thing. He's done so much dodgy shit.
Yeah, it's hard to
and earns the right people enough money that he can get away with it. So
yeah.
Also, Matt's Hummels.
Oh yes, brought to you by Hummels and Matt's Hummels.
Yeah.
Any other sponsor? Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan isn't a sponsor. He's a
he's your patron. He's your patron.
No, because that makes it sound like it's a prostitution situation.
And it's a love between equals.
No, it's not love. It's raw, animalistic rotting.
All right, so it's your channel, Kev. So if you want to wrap this up, and I need to refresh my water before we're going to do an off-air chat. So yeah, I'm kicking it over to you.
Well, see, now I know you want to stop. I'm like,
no, let's go for 15 hours straight. I'll get out my D&D book, which arrived today, and I'll start reading chapters out of it. I can tell you all about the game we played where I was the rogue assassin paladin fighter. Bard.
Oh, God.
We could talk about that for 15 hours.
We could, well, I'm sure you fucking could.
Yeah, I've got the book right here. I already have posted like little tabs. So I've got like my different colors for the cleric and the druid and the fighter, so I can look up the stats easier.
I think I've got cancer. I think you've given me cancer.
You can end the stream anytime, or I can keep talking about D&D.
Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully things, I mean, this is going to sound enormously trite, but I don't know how else to put this. Hopefully things get better in America. Yeah. Like, I don't know what else to say there. Fucked up. Anyway, so, but in lieu of that, we'll have to keep talking about it. Yeah.
Like, I know is that, like, looking at my country, the system and people's attitudes who aren't directly impacted by this on a daily setting just keep letting everybody else down.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I can't really leave it on a high point. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe this episode's not. I think it maybe should be somber. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, thank you all for listening and watching to whatever this was. Thank you to Kristi for her insights, as always, enormously powerful. People should be listening to the likes of Kristi, not me.
Nobody listens to me. Well, except our people in the chat, whom we love.
You might. You speak for yourself.
Yeah, you give them all little nicknames when we're off air.
Yeah. Spunk Trumpet and Arse Weasel.
Those are two of your favorites.
Yeah. Well, those are the two. It's a binary. Those are the two genders, okay? Pick your choice, whichever you want.
Choose your fighter.
On that Dave Rubin bombshell. We should do a show about knitting. There aren't enough shows about knitting. I'm just rambling. Fuck's sake. Right. Goodbye from me. And goodbye from Kristi. Say goodbye, Kristi.
Goodbye, Kristi.
She did the bit.
Are we still going or are we done?
I don't know what it is. Is this page frozen? Oh, hang on, there we go. End. Well, that's